Anyway, that's what they got around there. They're called the dinosaur, the Megalosaurus bramensis. So we've got our own very own Megalosaurus around here. And the best mental image I can give you, imagine a raptor from Jurassic Park. Cross it with a chicken. I promise you, that is the best mental image I can give you. More raptor than chicken, but exactly what I posted. Yeah, exactly right. Around here, we've got a very different kind of dinosaur. They leave a much bigger footprint, and they're the sauropods, okay? And the biggest one in this whole area of Broome is up at a place called Bard Creek, an hour north of town. The print is 1.6 metres in diameter.
Last night.
Oh, really?
I didn't even know. I didn't know.
It's a lot of meat and bone above that thing. They worked it out. 80 tonne. 80 tonne, like 20 fully grown elephants. Huge. I didn't part the hovercraft well for this example. 4 times the length of the hovercraft though, up to 75 feet. With a girth the same width as the hovercraft. The craft's about 4.3. Huge. A ton of food a day, a herbivore, leaf eater. If you noticed in our logo, this is the Brachiosaurus in the logo. Long tail, long neck, they have very long legs, very short back legs, so they're very upright, the tallest standing of all the dinosaurs. So, the biggest one's Bard Creek. Here, we got the 50 to 60 tonne variety here. But what's very special about this location is we get to see the trail of a young mum and her calf weaving in between her. So, there's plenty of us here. We'll get one of each of you to step in most of the footprints. There's 9 in the trail. And now we'll visualise this dinosaur and the young calf weaving between her and work out which way she's going. So, we're going over that way. Please be very careful of the rocks because they look like they might just be a little bit slippy. But as we're going over this way, well, the ocean's nearly gone anyway. It's pretty easy to forget the ocean because it's not high tide. But forget the cliffs as well. They weren't here back then. Forest floor. Plain or forest floor, lots of trees, soft, peaty clay bed floor, okay? And if I could make dinosaur sounds and bird sounds, I'd do that as well to add to the atmosphere, but I need to practice a bit more. So, it's in this plane, the trail. First, what's your name? I get Cooper, that's standing right in the middle of that one. He's standing right there for us. Number 2 is right here. He's standing right there if you like. Number 3 is just here. Okay, now with the water coming over, it doesn't look as obvious. See these cracks here? There's a bit missing here of our jigsaw puzzle. 6 days old now. It's only just happened. We've got an attrition erosion rate here, and we can't avoid it. It's just unfortunate it's happening along the trail. What we do find though is because the footprints are compact, more compact ground, the cracks usually go around them. But it looks like we might lose a bit of this one here. It just hasn't, even though we've had high springs here, because we haven't had the high winds at the moment, we actually expected to lose this ledge and it'd be down here somewhere by now. But it hasn't. Still here, we've just lost one bit. It's a bit sad, but there's positive. We've had lots of ledges go over 20 years, and usually we find another footprint underneath of something else. That's pretty cool. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Number 4 is right here. Get someone to jump in number 4. Now number 4 is a perfect example footprint. Now the reason I say that is because when they're authenticating them, they went to other parts of the world where they have bone fossils. I'll tell you why we don't have bone fossils here in Atik. But over the other side of the world, they had all these Brachiosaurus bone fossils, made up the Brachiosaurus foot template, brought it over here for us, put it in that one, perfect match. Perfect match. And 2 or 3 of these others almost spot on as well. Now the other important thing about this point in the trail is this is the start of the calf print, right under mum. It actually starts a way back, but you can see the erosion there, or all of a sudden we haven't got that flat ledge to be able to track it. So I'll show you later. So there's one. There's number 2. Number 3 right here. Then we've lost a little bit. Then we pick it up again right here. And there's one at the foot of the rocks. Now obviously they were dated same period of time. The size difference helps with the idea of a mum and a calf, but the biggest thing for the paleontologists was they're in the same plane. Because they're in the same plane, that was the biggest thing for them to go, hey, this could quite possibly be a young mum and a calf. World famous, this location. This is the only trail you can see in this region. Lots of prints, but this is the only trail. Number 5, right here. I get someone to jump in number 5 for me. Number 6 is just here. I need 3 more volunteers. Number 7, just here. Who wants to jump in number 7? Thank you. Number 8. Jump in a mate. No, I don't know your name yet, but is it Rosita? No, not Rosita.
Oh, me, Sarah. Sarah.
Okay, nowhere near Rosita, is it? Okay. Yeah, maybe it will count for today.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I said her name was Rosita was because we call the footprint Rosita. We named the footprint Rosita 13 years ago after Cyclone Rosita. Took the cap off the top of the print, the storm did, left the print underneath for us to see. So now we call it Rosita. So we're dying for the day we get Rosita, standard Rosita. It hasn't happened in 13 years though. And who's going to jump in? You want to come jump in number 9? So number 9 is up here. Now what was your name? Andrew. Andrew, come on here. Number 9 still has its cap on it, just like Rosita had. And you can see, just below it, Andrew, the heel of the next print in the trail. Now stay in your footprints. The reason I say heel is because, using the perfect example footprint, they knew with the Brachiosaurus, the radius of the toe was much smaller than the heel. So both of these guys are heading in this direction. So, Andrew's got 4 on his right, 5 on his left, all evenly zigzagging up in this direction, heading towards the cliffs. Guarantee you, take the rock up at the same level, we'll see them continue in that direction. No problem. But we'll leave the ledge where it is here today. We'll let our great-great-great-grandchildren have that privilege in the future. So thank you, students. You can get out of your rock holes now. Please still be careful on the rocks, the wet rocks. We'll move on to a bit of history. This trail, only discovered 38 years ago by a local guy, a guy called Paul Folks. He was a plasterer by trade, but right into all things paleontological and natural. Loved these dinosaurs. Walked the coast for hours. It took him a while to get the government to give him a grant. A little while longer to get his mates from Queensland and Perth universities to come down and authenticate the prints. But they did eventually. Brought a big bag of paleontological toys with them. In the bag, very specific measuring device that could very, very accurately measure the distance between the very, very epicenters of each print. Now across the whole trail, biggest difference they got was 2 to 3 centimetres. That's all across the whole trail. So it was that fact. Plus, the regularity of this, from a top view, the regularity of this repeatable zigzaggy pattern through the rock that led them to believe, okay, I don't think the weather has done this. The weather couldn't have done this. We haven't had significant movements in the land here. And even if we did, how would they have created this repeatable pattern through the rock? It had to be something external hitting the ground, like a big fat hairy dinosaur. So, the paleontologists went up to Cape Leveque. They have found hundreds and hundreds of dinosaur footprints. This little area here, 150. Stop counting. 23 different species of dinosaur in this region, to the point where this whole area is internationally recognised as the best pickings in the whole world for dinosaur footprints. The best, by far. Which is terrible at bone fossils. We have none. Why do we have no bone fossils? Okay. Someone said the other day, I know what happened. T-Rex chased everyone to Queensland because they got bone fossils at Winton. Maybe. Maybe. There's another theory though. The, 2 words help describe it. The Kimberley is the oldest benign landmass form in the world. Now these 2 words. The first one is geomorphology, morphing of the land, lay of the land. And the other one is a craton, sometimes pronounced a craton, by a guy on TV at the moment, Scottish guy. And they're the very solid, hard, flat masses of the earth, been around since the beginning. And there's 5 or 6 that help juggle around and make the continents before Gondwana. So, whereas in other parts of the world, where we've had the platelets continue to move, we've got volcanoes, we've got earthquakes, big moving mountains of sand, or glaciers that would cover over and preserve the dead or dying animals for millions and millions of years, here it's been flat. Forever, ever and ever. So when anything died here, feet went skyward, pterodactyls and the birds come down and get all the goody bits, and then the sun would just leach the bones away to absolutely nothing. Not even DNA out here. Someone you're not happy with? You got a million years to spare, you leave that. No trace. Now, the geologists they got down here dated the trail 120 million years ago is when this mum and a calf made these prints, and now we're stood in them. Unbelievable. Back then, it was a period of time called the Late Cretaceous, which is very cool because there were